manual scavenging is an outcome of what? Caste discrimination in India. Discuss. 15 marks question. Okay, so again we will start with the relevance first. We will follow our tradition and we'll go step by step. Okay, so पहले हम डिस्कस करते हैं कि हम क्या क्या डिस्कस करेंगे. We'll discuss the relevance, we'll discuss the approach. In approach we will discuss the keywords, we'll discuss the demand of the question, and then we'll move forward. We'll discuss intro, how we can start an answer. Then we will discuss the main body, what would be the important elements, okay, here. And then after discussing main body we will discuss the conclusion. Okay, so this is what we are going to discuss in this question. Okay, first we will discuss the relevance, then we will discuss the approach. In approach we'll discuss, understand the keywords here, we'll discuss the demand of the question then, and then we'll move further. We'll discuss the intro part, ki how we can start an answer, then we will discuss the main body of the answer, and then we'll discuss how we can conclude this answer. Okay, so now starting with the relevance first. So we can say ki even after 75 years of independence, manual scavenging is a blot on our collective conscience. Okay, and yes, that refuses to disappear despite of several initiatives taken by the government. So basically, who are the manual scavengers? They are exclusively people from so-called lower caste. Okay, they are exclusively so-called lower caste people who are engaged in this job. Okay, so what's the issue then? Issue is more than, basically what they do, they basically clean, dispose, etc. human excreta from dry toilets and sewers manually. Okay, manually, without any safety, without any safety gears. And yes, according to government data, according to government survey, more than 80% of manual scavengers, they die before turning 60. Before turning 60. Why? Because of infectious disease. After contracting with infectious disease, they die. Okay, before turning 60 years. This is a government data. Okay, more than 80%. So yes, it is a huge violation of human right violation here. So yes, we need to pay attention. And so that was all about the relevance. That is why this topic becomes important. And this topic become important. Now we will move forward and we'll discuss the approach. What approach we can follow to solve this question. Okay, and before starting, start discussing the approach, we need to read this question again. Okay, so that we can understand the keywords and what is the actually demand of the question here. So the question says, manual scavenging is an outcome of caste discrimination in India. Discuss. 15 marks का question है. Again, we need not to cross 250 words or 2 pages here. Okay. So, and I will show you how our answer looks like. See, this is the whole answer. Okay, within 2 pages. Okay, where we have also given you case study. Okay, with conclusion. This is the case study, and this is the intro part, short and crisp within 3 lines. Okay, and this is the main body of the answer with heading and with subheads. ठीक है, so it is very important to give heads and subheads in your answer to make your answer look more presentable, to make your answer more presentable. Okay, so now we'll move back to our discussion and we'll discuss the approach here. तो approach क्या होगी? First of all, we will understand the meaning of the keywords first. So हम keywords discuss कर लेते हैं. So what is manual scavenging? It is cleaning. It is a process, ठीक है? It's a manual process of cleaning, disposing of human excreta from where? From dry toilets and sewers without taking any safety gears. So it's a manual process of what? Manual process of cleaning and disposing human excreta from dry toilets and sewers. ठीक है, so that's the meaning of manual scavenging. And then what is the meaning of caste discrimination? When we say caste discrimination, it is this discrimination on the basis of caste, or in simple word we can say it is a discrimination on the basis of social order you are born in. If so, this is the meaning of caste discrimination. Now we have to bring discussion on this topic. ठीक है, so here we have to show how manual scavenging is related to the caste system in India. So that was all about the approach. We have discussed, we have covered the relevance, we have covered the approach. You have to bring a discussion where you have to establish a relationship how manual scavenging is related to what? To caste system in India, or how caste system or caste discrimination promotes manual scavenging. Okay, now we'll move forward and we'll discuss the introduction. Okay, we'll discuss our introduction. So what could be the possible introduction here? Okay, before starting introduction, so this is our intro part in 3 lines. ठीक है, so short and crisp, and yes, it is good to keep your introduction to the point, short and crisp. Try to finish, complete your introduction within 2 to 3 lines. ठीक है, or we can say 20 to 25 words, because it's already 15 marks question. 250 words ही लिखने हैं वहाँ पे. So yes, introduction should be short, crisp and to the point. Okay, you need to address the demand of the question in introduction itself, in brief, so that to make examiner understand that you have already understood the demand of the question, and you have some knowledge about this particular topic. So what could be the possible introduction here? We can start like by giving fact or data, or by definition of manual scavenging. ठीक है, so we can start like definition. We can start with the definition. We can start with the fact and data. So till now I have means in most of the question I have already shown you the structure or the ways we can introduce our answer. So basically what are the ways? Basically we start our introduction या तो with definition, या तो with fact or data, या तो फिर with recent debate, या तो फिर recent debate, ठीक है, with recent example and with recent any event. ठीक है, so these are the best ways or the good ways to start an answer. आप किसी भी, it's actually depends on what? It depends on the demand of the question, कि question में पूछा क्या गया है, उसके हिसाब से आप इसको एडजस्ट कर सकते हो कि बेस्ट सूटेड क्या होगा, कि whether we should start with a definition or fact or data, or with any recent debate, event or example. So here I'm going to start my intro with fact. ठीक है, हम यहाँ पे फैक्ट के साथ स्टार्ट करेंगे. वाई? बिकॉज आई हैव टू शो कि हाउ मैनुअल स्केवेंजिंग इज रिलेटेड टू कास्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, और हाउ they both are related. Okay, how they both are, manual scavenging and how manual scavenging and caste discrimination, they both are related. ठीक है, so that is why I will prefer to use data here. But if in case you are not aware of data or you are not able to recall data, then yes, we can start with the definition of manual scavenging. ठीक है, but it would be good if you start with any recent data. So what our introduction says, let's read it. It says it was estimated in 2019 that between 40 to 60% of the 6 billion households of Dalit, subcaste, they are engaged in sanitation work. See, it's 40 to 60% of 6 billion households are so-called lower caste people. They are engaged in sanitation work. Okay, so I have already established a relationship here by mentioning the data. Yes, manual scavenging or sanitation work is related with the caste discrimination. So I have shown it here by using fact. Okay, then we'll move forward. So this is about the introduction. So we have done with introduction also. We have covered the relevance. We have covered the approach. We have covered the introduction, where I have started my answer by using recent data. Now we'll move forward and we'll discuss the main body of the answer. Discuss the main body. Okay, I have given a heading here. Okay, heading, and now and further I have given the subheads here. Okay, I have given subheads to see, subheads. Okay, so yes, it is a good way. It makes your answer look more presentable. So yes, आप भी ये कर सकते हो. Okay, so now our head says, what our heading says, it says polluting works like sweeping and scavenging have been historically challenged employment through caste discrimination. Okay, and we can also give small subhead by saying ki how manual scavenging is related to caste discrimination. Now under this subhead heading we will discuss subheads. Okay, our first subhead is social discrimination. Okay, so now we will try to explain you ki how manual scavenging is related with caste discrimination. As you know, there are certain examples, there are evidences from ancient writings also, like Narad Samhita and Vajrayani Samhita. Okay, they tells about what Brahmanical social order that assigned the most polluting task to the so-called lower caste people. Okay, so yes, it is evident from ancient texts, from ancient writings. Okay, now we'll move forward. Our second point is caste institutionalization. Yes, so as we know, railways is the largest institution in the country that uses what? Dry toilets. So we need to abolish this. Okay, we need to abolish this. Okay. So moving forward, next point is present status. Okay, attitude. Yes, stigma hai. The law has ended manual scavenging. Okay, our law has ended manual scavenging, but as a form of employment, but there is a stigma. Okay, stigma associated and discrimination associated with it still linger on. Okay, the stigma and discrimination associated with manual scavenging make it difficult for the liberated manual scavengers to secure alternative livelihood. Okay, so our next point is attitude. We can say stigma associated with manual scavenging. So as you know ki the stigma and discrimination associated with the manual scavenging make it difficult for liberated manual scavengers to secure alternative what? Livelihood. Okay, next is unemployment. How unemployment? Lack of employment opportunity. Okay, it pushes where people to do such jobs, to pursue such jobs. Okay, so next is poverty and infrastructure. Yes, poverty, I think we can cover this point under this unemployment. ठीक है, यहाँ पे हम cover कर सकते हैं under unemployment subhead. So yes, poverty and infrastructure is also related. ठीक है, so this is a case study, and that's all about the the issue. ठीक है, now we will discuss the way forward. Way forward हम क्या, it's not mentioned here in the question, but it would be good if your word limit permits, or if your time permits, then yes, you can mention the way forward also. We can say socio-economic rehabilitation is required. ठीक है, socio-economic rehabilitation is required. We need to develop what schemes, ठीक है, जहां पे हम क्या प्रमोट करें, एजुकेशन, फ्री एजुकेशन, वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग, प्रोवाइड वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग टू देम, ठीक है. एंड यस वी नीड एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ कम्युनिटीज, हमें इनका भी पार्टिसिपेशन जरूरी है, ठीक है. नाउ नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज वी कैन से कि यस लाइक इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज जो किया गया है हमें वैसे इंस्टीट्यूशंस, वी नीड टू अबॉलिश सच इन प्रैक्टिस इन like Indian Railway. I have already discussed what it does. It is the largest institution, ठीक है, of what, having dry toilets. So we need to do what, we need to abolish such institutes within a certain time period. Okay, next is yes we need to adopt what technology to end manual scavenging, or we need to move towards automation. Like example हो गया bio toilet, which currently we are using, our Indian Railway is using for our trains. More than 95% of trains now they are having what, bio toilets, ठीक है. So yes, that was all about the way forward. What you can do is कि if you're short of words, ठीक है, आप you have already exceeded the word limit, ठीक है, or about to exceed the word limit, then what you can do is you don't need to mention give a separate subhead of way forward. What you can do, you can compress these points in a single para of 3-4 lines, and you can make this part to conclude your answer. You can use it as a conclusion also, ठीक है, आप इसको as a conclusion भी use कर सकते हो, ठीक. But if you have mentioned, मतलब आपके पास word limit है and you have mentioned given a way forward, then what could be the possible conclusion? We can conclude. So how we can conclude this answer? We can conclude by saying of the 1.2 million manual scavengers, ठीक है, about 95% to 98% are women. You will be shocked to know this data. Okay, about 95 to 98% are women, and they are facing what, double discrimination. क्या फेस कर रहे हैं, they are facing double discrimination of what, double discrimination as caste and gender discrimination inequalities converges, ठीक है. So despite their overwhelming numbers, there is hardly any research, ठीक है, despite their, यहाँ पे हम लिख सकते हैं despite their overwhelming number, there is hardly, what we can say, there is hardly any research or a governmental report shedding light on these women. In addition to caste-based solutions, a gender-sensitive approach we can further mention. In addition to caste-based approach, gender-based approach is also required, ठीक है. हमें caste based solution तो चाहिए, but हमें gender based approach भी चाहिए, required to put an end to this practice. Okay, so this is the one way to conclude this answer. So this is the one way to conclude your answer. This is the one way to conclude your answer. we can conclude your answer. There is another way to conclude this answer. We can also conclude by saying what? We can say there is a need of what? Decentralized governance. Okay, like PRI, Panchayati Raj institutions and municipal bodies, they can play an instrumental role. Okay, they can play an instrumental role in ensuring what? In ensuring the effective implementation of rehabilitation schemes, compliances of laws, and operational guidelines. Okay, so this is another way to conclude the same answer, and this is a one way to conclude. Okay, so I have till now what we have discussed. So we have discussed the relevance, we have discussed the approach. In approach, what I've told you, what we have discussed, we have to show how manual scavenging, we have to bring a discussion that how manual scavenging is related to caste discrimination. Okay, then what we have discussed the introduction, where I have started my answer by using fact. Why not definition? Yes, you can start with the definition too, if in case you are not aware of any fact or you are not able to recall any fact. Why fact here? Because you have to establish a relationship, you have to relate how manual scavenging is related with the caste discrimination. Okay, then in main body, what we have discussed several points, how it is related with caste discrimination. So we have discussed about social discrimination, we have discussed about institutionalization, we have discussed about stigma and attitude, unemployment as one of the reasons, poverty or infrastructure as one of the reasons. Now, and in the end, what we have discussed two types of conclusion, or how we can conclude and answer the same answer in two ways. In one way, I have given you some fact or data where my main focus was on women. Okay, my main focus was on women. Ki out of means 1.2 manual scavengers, about 95 to 98% of them are women, and they are facing what? Double discrimination. Okay, because caste or gender discrimination or inequalities, they converges, and because of their despite of their overwhelming number, there is no hardly any research or government research shedding light on these women. Okay, and in addition, हमें caste based approach चाहिए. We need a caste based approach, but we also need gender based approach here. Okay, because 90 to 98% manual scavengers में से कौन है? Women है. So yes, we need a gender based approach also, and that was our conclusion number 1. But in conclusion number 2, I have discuss about how decentralization of governance is a key, or can play an important role in doing away with such practice. Okay, so that was all about this question.